Gothamites. If you're new here, hi. I'm London, aka History of the Batman. This isn't the history video that I'm putting up this weekend. I will probably put that up Sunday, I'm going to guess. Since this happened yesterday, it literally took up most of my afternoon and evening, and I just wasn't ready. Now, if you haven't heard, Variety first reported it, and they stated that for director Matt Reeves' DC Comics Batman film titled The Batman, which will be hitting theaters June 25th in 2021, actor Robert Pattinson has been chosen to be the Bruce Wayne Batman within Reeves' movie. Now, this could be 100% true. Other sources like Deadline are saying that it's actually a race between Pattinson and Nicholas Hoult. From what I've seen Reeves discuss in certain interviews, and over the past several months, Pattinson's name has come up so much. And apparently that was Reeves' first choice after Affleck left the project. So I'm probably about 99.5% sure that Pattinson probably is chosen to be the new Batman. But things change, updates happen, developments happen. It's kind of a you have to wait and see type of game. But if I did have to put money on it, money that I don't have because I'm broke, I would probably say that Pattinson will be our next live action Batman on the big screen. Now, right off the bat, once I posted it on my social media and announced it, and when other outlets picked it up and things like that, the automatic response was just purely negative. That always interests me, and there's definitely a pattern to this. Because the announcement of Robert Pattinson being Batman and the response that it's gauged already in less than 24 hours is nothing new, especially when it comes to casting people being Batman or even Batman related characters. So for this video, since it was kind of just off the cuff and random, I truly in my heart of hearts thought we weren't going to find out who was going to be Batman until July for San Diego Comic-Con, and they announced it there because that just seems like a perfect opportunity to announce things like that. But it's fine. I wanted to briefly look at the reaction to castings of the live action Batman in cinema and see how negative or positive they are, see if there are trends, and just overall talk about the live action Batman. If you're not sure about the complete history of Batman on the big screen, you can look at this video quickly. I've also done a ranking of all of the live action Batman. I'll put that video in the description if you're interested in that. And overall, try to figure out why, as a fan base, why certain critics just have a go-to gut reaction to just be purely negative just based on the announcement. Let's just look at some internet rage and some newspaper rage and see why is there rage. I'm just curious. But before we dive into a history of the live action Batman and internet rage, why don't you subscribe to this channel and become a part of this wonderful Gothamite community. It's fun here. We talk about Batman all the time, not just if Pattinson would be a good Batman. So you should just chill here if you like the character. Before I even talk about all of the history, I do want to state that because people always ask me, anytime there's announcements or trailers come out, things like that, people always ask my opinion about, like, what do I think about the voice actor or the actors or the storyline, whatever it may be. And I have to be completely honest, because when I found out that Pattinson was cast as Batman, literally my first thing that I thought was, what has he been in? And after looking at his filmography, I've literally seen him in 2 movies. That's it. And that was like a decade ago. So I can't give an accurate, and even though it's an opinion, I can't even give an opinion on if Pattinson would be a good Batman because I don't really know his work. I don't really know him as an actor. I know everyone changes after 10 years. So he's not the same as he was in Twilight, which I know that's the parallel that everyone's making. I'm just waiting for the Robert like Pattinson jokes and stuff like that because vampire and bats, that has to be a thing, especially if it's super, super, super confirmed that he's Pattinson. Let the memes commence. I'm ready. You hear that? Yeah, that's the dogs just. Yeah. Okay. So I can't really even say if I think he's going to be good or bad because I don't know him as an actor or his work. So that's one thing. And then B, usually I am just optimistic. Anytime there's a casting or anything, I'm like, oh no, like, I'm excited. It's a new Batman. It's Batman media. I'm just hyped that there's Batman media. I'm always open-minded to anything. And I think that's why this video is gonna be here because I don't understand just being just straight out negative about everything. I kind of wanted to look and see if with every Batman or even major character within a Batman film and casting, has there always been this much backlash right at the moment they're announced, not even after the movie comes out or after seeing them in the suit or whatever, trailers in the modern age now. I want to see if there is some type of trend or pattern. So you may not care, but if you are here from like Instagram and you're like, what do you think about that? That's what I think. I can't form an opinion about him being Batman because I don't know him in his work, but I'm not just gonna trash it because why should I? There's nothing really to go off of to properly trash this man for being Batman, and we've seen absolutely nothing. Let's look at the different Batman over the decades. Bill Finger and Bob Kane's Batman debuted in 1939's Detective Comics 27. And in 1943, Batman finally hit the big screen for the first time in the Columbia Pictures black and white serial's Batman, which starred Lewis Wilson as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Now, funny enough, for looking at different newspaper clippings and articles, you can see that critics even then, even in 1943, were skeptical about him playing Batman, even though the character's only been around for a few years at this point, because apparently Lewis Wilson, who was originally a New York City native, had a rather New York accent, and people didn't like that. That was one of the complaints, which makes me laugh. Especially since it's 1943, and at the time, even Gotham City is very, very new. And it is a new name for the metropolis that Bruce Wayne's Batman lives in. But Bill Finger based the original Gotham City off of New York. So, and also Lewis Wilson was now he wasn't even a big guy. He was just a little bigger than other actors. And that was a problem for some critics. So it's more him, his accent, and the way that he looks that kind of threw people off into if he would be a good Batman. The next Batman came in 1949 serial's Batman and Robin, which starred Robert Lowry as Batman. Now, this reaction actually came more after the film came out, because most of the time it was just like, oh, he's a good actor. That's fine, but apparently there are a lot of technical problems and unfortunately Robert Lowry's Batman isn't as memorable as other ones. If you hear pitter patter, I'm so sorry. Ghost is pacing outside this door. Probably just wants to come see me, but the dogs aren't here where I film. So for him, more so, it was after the fact that he played Batman and people just weren't really feeling it. Now, if we look at Adam West's Batman, who was the Batman not only in the 1966 TV series Batman, which ran for 3 seasons until 1968, but also the film Batman, which came out in 1966. It's kind of the same reaction as you even see today when someone either is introduced to Adam West's Batman or the Batman of the late 60s. People either love the fact that it's vibrant and has pop art and it's just all about the campiness, or they hate it because it's vibrant and it's pop art and it's all about the campiness. There's no middle. There's no one that's like, it's okay. You either like, I love this, or that's not the type of Batman that I like, and I just can't understand why that was a thing. Apparently that was the same thing with critics and other fans. They saw the nature of the series and figured, wow, this seems just more like a joke and it's more for kids and it's not really for the adult audience. However, once the show came on, it was for everyone and it blew up and became Batmania within the late 60s. But moving on to the realness, Michael Keaton being cast in Tim Burton's Batman, which came out in 1989, was the first time you really saw internet rage before internet. You saw newspaper rage and people writing in letters. Michael Keaton, from being cast in Beetlejuice to Mr. Mom, people saw him as a comedic actor. And the fact that they're trying to say that, oh, his Batman is going to be dark and mysterious and not like the 60s Batman, people couldn't see it. They had no idea. They're like, no, I can't see it. I can't see Michael Keaton being Batman. But this concern for Keaton portraying Bruce Wayne within this new cinematic universe were from all different sides. There were fans that wrote letters into both the Los Angeles Times and Warner Brothers Pictures saying that this was a bad choice to pick Keaton as the new Batman, especially if you do want to make it a dark and serious film. Also, comic book writers, comic book editors, so many different journalists and critics wrote in, whether it's a newspaper, magazine, or even the comic book itself. People had major anxiety over seeing this particular actor being the Dark Knight. They could not picture it in their head. I mean, there was even major talk and fallout at certain comic book conventions at the time. It was just everywhere. And now, if you look at it, Keaton is so many people's #1 Batman. People even want Keaton to come back and portray an older Batman, whether in a Batman Beyond movie or something else. I think that's the first real case of seeing people freak out before he put on the suit, before we even saw the really crappy short trailer they put together just to throw it out there. They're just mad. But then when they see it, they love it and they say it's amazing and it becomes a blockbuster, makes history. It's turning 30 this year and everyone is like, oh, we have to celebrate the 30th anniversary because it's an amazing movie. You know the legacy of 1989's Batman. I don't have to tell you. So of course Keaton played Batman in 1989's Batman and 1992's Batman Returns. Our next two actors to play Batman on the live action cinematic screen are Val Kilmer in 1995's Batman Forever and George Clooney in 1997's Batman and Robin, both directed by Joel Schumacher. In this era, because it's Val Kilmer and George Clooney in the early 90s, they were both seen as major trendy actors, and that's a huge reason why they were cast. And they are good actors. I don't think any actor that has played Batman is a bad actor. I feel like if for some reason a movie's not good, like if you're like, oh, Batman and Robin, you know, Nipplegate, whatever, with George Clooney, you're like, he's the worst. He's not a bad actor. He just had a bad script and the filming was bad and the costume was bad and all of that. He can't save everything. But most of the backlash kind of came after the fact that they were in the film. Of course, for Val Kilmer, it was kind of in the middle. People were like, I like it, I don't like it. Schumacher didn't like Kilmer at all. He said he was very hard to work with. So enter George Clooney 2 years later. And in George Clooney, most of the critics gave it a very negative response. They didn't like the look of it. They didn't understand why it was so campy right after Tim Burton's very dark interpretation. That kind of threw people off. You know the criticisms for George Clooney. I don't think it's because he's a bad actor. I think he just had a lot of different elements against him and he can only do so much as an actor. Probably the most positive response, even though there was still negativity, do not get me wrong, but the most positive response came when Christian Bale was cast as a new Batman in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy, which began in 2005's Batman Begins. Most people were like, oh, okay. But then other people didn't like his voice. Before he put on the suit, before all of that. Just the way it was either deep or the accent. Those were the biggest complaints. And funny enough, I didn't like his Batman voice in these films. And a lot of people say the same thing. They say it was too grovelly, it was too deep. I know it's supposed to be like scary and, you know, intimidating, but it just sounded like he was getting over a cold, you know what I mean? But of course, the Dark Knight trilogy is one of the most celebrated franchises now in movie history, so. Christian Bale is not a bad actor. I actually love his film. The Prestige is literally one of my favorite films of all time because you get to see Batman and Wolverine duke it out with magic, and who doesn't want to see a crossover? Now, this isn't a Batman, but I just wanted to throw it in just because his performance is one of the most well-known and critically acclaimed performances within a Batman movie ever, and that's Heath Ledger playing the Joker in 2008's The Dark Knight alongside Christian Bale's Batman. Of course, people said, oh, he was in 10 Things I Hate About You and at the time, right before Brokeback Mountain. And even though that was like an Oscar-worthy film, people had really horrible comments and thoughts and reactions to Heath Ledger being cast as Joker. And it was just purely negative. They thought he was too pretty. They thought he was too silly. And people were like, oh no, he's gonna try to sleep with Batman. Like stupid stuff like that. Like it was just, just a lot of negativity if you look at certain internet forums and comments and things like that. Everyone loves Heath Ledger's Joker, and they're like, there will never be another Joker. Kind of the same thing with Michael Keaton. At least Outraged in comparison to when they came out with the character and the responses. Both Michael Keaton and Heath Ledger, horrible responses, but then when they actually were on film and people saw it, they loved it. So, just saying. Of course, our next live action Batman is Ben Affleck, who was in 2016's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, and 2017's Justice League. I remember the day, the evening, it was announced that Ben Affleck was going to be the new Batman after Christian Bale. Christian Bale was Batman until 2012. This was announced late 2013. The film eventually was released in early 2016, I believe, March, Batman v Superman. I remember seeing Ben Affleck as Batman, the announcement. And of course, I had to do a post for Instagram. If you're not following, at History of the Batman, go check it out. And this is just remembering on my platform. I saw other things, of course, Facebook, Twitter, all the forums, all of that. But just on my Instagram alone, the comments, which was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, literally, of comments, that were some of the worst comments I ever saw at that point. Because it's like 2013. Everything's still kind of positive. So it got really bad to a point where even people, maybe not on my Instagram, but probably, and in other places, were telling Ben Affleck to kill himself. We're saying that he's just going to ruin the Batman character and the franchise, and this is the biggest mistake that's ever been made. And it was just so overwhelmingly negative. And I'm sitting here like, Ben Affleck is a good actor. So, and at the time of the announcement, we had no idea what Batman we were seeing. We didn't know that it was going to be based off of Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. We didn't know it was going to be an older, more seasoned Batman, as Zack Snyder put it. We didn't know anything. It was just like the Robert Pattinson announcement. We just heard he's the new Batman. That's it. There is no footage. There's no suit. You should never tell anyone to harm themselves because you think that this person is going to play bad at a fictional character. I hate that. Can't you tell? We'll talk more about the negative culture in a minute because we're almost done. Even now, there are people that say Ben has been the worst Batman, but then there are people saying he's the most comic book accurate Batman and the best Batman they've ever seen. So even now, after being in technically 3 films, the reactions are rather divided still. Because people, even with the announcement from yesterday, people are like, well, it's going to be better than Affleck because he just sucked so bad. Which I'm like, I don't think so. And it was fine, but it's kind of the same thing with George Clooney, I think. Which, did you know? Because I just read an article from The Hollywood Reporter saying that George Clooney, when he heard that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman, he literally went to Ben and said, don't play Batman. You're going to regret it. And he did, which is, George tried to tell y'all. You guys want to, be mean about George Clooney, but he was like, I want to keep it 100 with you because I had a horrible experience. And if it doesn't go well, everyone's going to be against you. Everyone's going to be mad at you. They're not going to like you, which is what totally happened. He predicted the future. People like Ben. People don't like Ben. It's kind of a mixed thing. Kind of like Adam West. You either really, really, really enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman or you really didn't get it and didn't like it. Personally, for me, literally, this is just my opinion. Seeing Ben not want to be Batman in these films, especially after Batman v Superman and how it didn't do the best in the box office that the studio wanted and the backlash that it got in certain areas of the film, he was done. He did not want to do this anymore. And you can see that on his face, not even in like the memes and stuff, but just in press tours. And even when Justice League was rolling out, he was just not excited to be here. And if you're not excited to be here, why should I? And now we are here, 2019, awaiting to hear about Matt Reeves' new Batman for his film The Batman, out June 25th, 2021. And we are hearing that the front runner that has the edge even over other actors, in particular Nicholas Hoult, is Robert Pattinson. At the time of filming this video, there are over 1,500 comments. Do you want to guess, just off of that number, how many are just really negative and right off the bat just throwing up emojis, saying no, saying DC Comics is canceled, he's gonna ruin the franchise, Sparkle Batman, like just, I haven't read all 1,500 comments because I just don't have that energy. I didn't have the energy to tackle this yesterday. Like I said in my last video, I'm kind of under the weather, so literally, I just thought yesterday would have been an easy day. It's a long day. No matter if it's Robert Pattinson, Nicholas Hoult, whoever, it really doesn't matter who's going to be in this position. I still think it's going to be Pattinson, but even if that changes, the reaction is still going to suck. Why is that? And that leads me to the main point of why I made this video. Robert Pattinson, or whoever else is going to be in Matt Reeves' Batman, will be the 9th Batman on the big screen in live action. And that's major. Batman's history on film is extraordinary and so much fun, whether or not you like certain films or like certain actors playing the character. Not just with this in particular, it's with anything. Within popular culture, different franchises. Game of Thrones. That's probably the most accurate one we could do right now that's relevant as F. People just think that being negative as a default is a personality trait now, and that's so not the case. I don't understand. Of course, we all have opinions and worries and thoughts and things like that about how this media is presented, who will be representing it, and if it'll be a good representation of the characters and the particular media that we're obsessed with. I don't see the benefit of going into something when you have nothing else to go off of and just saying, oh, it's going to suck. I just know it. That's the end of the Batman franchise. I don't know how that helps the cause of the fandom. I think everyone's go-to is just to be negative because I think people are scared to be let down now. I think people are afraid that they won't enjoy the movie or something because there have been a lot of ups and downs within Batman's particular history. Do I think that trashing this boy is good? No. And I only say boy, and but he is technically going to be the youngest actor to play Batman on the big screen if he is cast. He's 32 or 33, and before that, it was Lewis Wilson, who was the youngest actor still to play Batman when he was cast in 1943. He's actually the correct age to play Batman. Even the other kid, Nicholas, why am I calling them children? Like, he's like 3 years older than me. I don't understand. I think how people react to announcements and choices for casting and things like that is fascinating. It's more commentary on society, I think, but like, things like this. People have already made petitions to get Warner Brothers to change Pattinson from being Batman when they've literally seen absolutely nothing of him being Batman. All there is out there is fan art. Dope fan art, but fan art. But as we can see throughout the decades, even back in 1943 to yesterday, people have formed so many different negative comments and opinions about these actors before you even see them in the costume, on the film, in the trailers, wherever. You just are like, oh, it's going to be bad. That's it. Why don't we not do that? Why don't we try to be positive? Why don't we say, you know what? And the thing is, not everyone is super negative. There are people that are like, you know what? I'm going to wait and see. Isn't that a crazy concept? Wait and see if it's going to be good or bad, because we literally cannot judge correctly. But people are already making petitions to the studio. Pretty sure that's part of the toxic nature of fandoms, things like that, which I never like, and I've spoken about that in different videos. Whether it's Pattinson, Nicholas Hoult, someone else. I'm excited. I'm excited for 2021. I always keep an open mind, especially with DC Comics properties, and I'm here for it. I am here. I'm ready to start making Robert Pattinson jokes. I'm here and I'm ready for it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video about Robert Pattinson being the new Batman and a brief history of internet and newspaper rage with different Batman castings. I don't know what I'm naming this video, but that's pretty much what we discussed. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a bat thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on Robert Pattinson potentially being our next live action Dark Knight. As always, all of my social media is linked in the description below, including Instagram at History of the Batman and Twitter at Hist of the Batman. And why don't you join the conversation about Robert Pattinson? I have tweets, I have posts, just go check it out, follow, become a Gothamite on there. It would be dope of you if you did so. And also check out my videos for DC Comics DC Fans channel. Oh, and also subscribe to this channel and become a part of this Batman community. It would mean so much to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will have more History of the Batman soon right here on YouTube. Remember, Gothamites, all about peace, love, and Batman. Bye.